Good morning. This is Pastor Jamie. This is your Sunday morning wake-up call. Getting on a little early today, but I want to get right into what I have for you today. Earlier this week, I believe it was Wednesday morning, may have been Tuesday morning, woke up with these words in my heart, my mind, better than before. I shared a little bit with our church Wednesday night about how I felt that applied to our church and to us in that moment, but couldn't get away from those words and was thinking on them yesterday, and a couple of different places in Scripture came to my mind. I want to share with you just for a few minutes this morning. One is probably not so familiar, and one is very familiar. The one that's not so familiar, I want to use my main text, Ecclesiastes 11:1, verse. It simply says, "Cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days." Then Exodus chapter 2, verse 2 through 4. "And the woman conceived and bare a son, and when she saw him that he was a godly child, she hid him 3 months. When she could no longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein. She laid it in the flags by the river brink, and his sister stood afar off to wit what will be done to him." This child, this son, was Moses, and this woman, obviously his mother. And from our text and from our second text, we find that very difficult decision there. Number one, bread is very main resource throughout the Bible. It's a great commodity, bread, obviously, and water. We don't think a lot of it many times. Some people don't like bread, but that was a necessity in that time, probably still is a necessity in some places of the world. And then, obviously, a goodly child, Moses, his mother, has him there. And they have to make the tough decision of releasing what was good to them, but with the faith to know that somehow God's going to make this better than before. And my question to us this morning, is there anything in our life that we cherish, that we hold dear, that it's valuable to us, that we think, well, if I'll just hold on to this, then I'll at least have something good in my life? I believe that the Lord is challenging our hearts this morning that you may need to release that. You maybe need to let it go. And he says here in our text, "Cast thy bread upon the waters, for thou shalt find it after many days." Knowing that don't mean that you're giving it up for good or giving it up forever. You're giving it up for better. And so there's just sometimes we have to release ourselves from some things that we cherish, that we hold dear. Maybe that's a relationship. Maybe that's a commodity. Maybe that, I don't know. You have to insert there. But all I know is that the Lord has said that he wants to give us better than before. That's God's desire, is to give us better. God has not created us and made us and saved us and filled us with his power and his presence for us to be bitter. But God has done all these things to make us better. So no matter what circumstance, no matter what you're facing, no matter what you're going through, no matter where you're standing in life, you feel yourself getting to the point of fear and doubt and bitterness, it may be time to let it go. As the old saying goes, let go and let God. So will you be willing to cast your bread upon the waters? Will you be willing to release your precious gift upon the waters as Moses' mother did? And we know the story that Moses was the one that delivered the children of Israel out of Egyptian bondage. But he was never able to become that deliverer until his mother was willing to release him upon the waters. If she'd have held on to him, ultimately they would have come in and killed him like they did every other child. But she was willing to release him and face that heartbreak of releasing him for him to have a better future, and ultimately for her to have a better future. Because wow, how God worked that out. Because Moses was brought into the hands of a woman who is in authority and leadership, who turns around, puts the child Moses back in his mother's hands. The whole time she had him as a newborn, she was in fear, trying to keep him quiet, stop him from crying. Now she had liberty to raise him, and somebody paid her to do it. That's better than before. And so God is wanting to make it better than before, but you've got to be willing to release what you need to be better. that's the word that I have for you today. I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless you. Love you. Be in the house of the Lord somewhere today.